Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by Nightclub33.com.
Welcome into this week's episode of the Cynics on Universal podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, aka the Disney Cynic.
And I'm Amanda, aka the Anti-Cynic.
And today we are doing a little bit of a variation show. Typically, yes, we do talk about the Disney parks, but we diverge or divert. We went the other way. And what we did was open up a resort, basically.
Yeah, that was actually pretty kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, who was, and especially at the price that we paid,
I know.
it's ridiculous.
I know.
So let's talk about Terra Luna's resort, you guys. There they are.
Yeah, look at me getting better and better.
I know. So before we get real deep into it, Amanda,
Yes,
wanted to let you know a couple things here. A, our 200th show is upcoming.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So we kind of need to do something different.
Yeah.
We need to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
Start thinking of some 200th show ideas.
Okay.
And we'll put together something. I'm sure that there's not a best of clip because, well, it's this show. I mean, there's just not much of a best of to it'd be just a flicker. I think I made one joke one time that made one person laugh. So there's that. Anyway, so no, the other thing here is I think that we need, because of our busy schedules and everything like that, I think we should be shifting to just a kind of a planned bi-weekly schedule, and we need to focus more on talking about the diverse subjects within Disney, whether that's history, whether that's opining for a different time or something along those lines. We need to incorporate a little bit more of that into where our review section would be, rather than, just, I don't know, take over the news and hijack it.
Sure.
And speaking of, Amanda,
Yes.
I have to now offer you and actually officially promote you to the news anchor of this here show. So give them a round of applause here, children. There they are. Still not great on that soundboard, but it's okay.
I'm getting there.
We'll get you there eventually. Maybe by the 300th show.
I will say.
But I want to make sure that we're putting in the right amount of time and effort into these episodes.
Yeah.
And frankly, we're busier these days than we had been previously, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And the other side of the coin, though, is like, we just don't go to Disney as much.
No, we don't.
And it's tough to do a weekly show right now on Disney if you're a huge parks fan, or at least were. If you're someone who's like us, I mean, I'm kind of bummed out on the whole experience.
I do want to say, we're talking about we don't go to Disney that often. We're about to go like this weekend and next weekend.
I mean, definitely next weekend, so we have family coming in town. So hopefully that will maybe spark some sort of magic here that we haven't felt in a minute. But the last time I even came close to feeling that way was when these folks were in town. So maybe we'll see. In the meantime, here we did trek over to the Terra Luna Resort. Now, this is typically where we would give you like some space to be a history professor, but do we have any?
It opened March 25th, 2025. That's that's essentially like the history. If you want to know a little bit more about the resort,
I mean, that was kind of where I was going.
I mean, as far as history goes, it opened March 25th of this year. So this is one of Universal's, obviously not their newest. Helios is the newest. It is officially opened. It opened over a month early. We're supposed to open May 22nd. They opened April 16th. So it is, but it is one of the new ones. It is a value. Well, let me back up. Universal has like 3 levels of resorts. This is considered a prime value, which I think equates more to a moderate in Disney terms.
I don't know. I got major all-star vibes.
I did.
From it. So
I'm saying like level wise, like if we want, because they have 3 levels, this would be like in the middle. This is
I would
not.
still
I know.
say that this is priced like
It is priced like a Disney value. That is for sure.
It's ridiculously all right. Let's talk about the whole shebang.
Well,
shall
should
we?
I? Okay.
Because I mean, it feels like we'll stumble upon a lot of the stuff that you want to talk about, as we go. So, arriving to the resort, it is very obvious that the whole area is still under construction.
Yes.
Like there's nothing but orange cones everywhere. And Buzz Lightyear and Woody dolls like running around amok.
Under said traffic cone.
Yeah. I mean, it's very, very like dangerous out there for those toys. And that's like nice in the sense that we're obviously we're getting something new, but it's also not
it's not finished.
Whole. Yeah.
we're not getting the whole thing. Not the whole thing, but like
trees have to grow their roots into place and shit still. Like so like that's how new this resort is, that the landscaping isn't even like really alive.
Yeah.
And like it's weirdly gorgeous from the outside.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Oh, the building looks fantastic. I really like it's a cool looking building.
Hopefully we send Steve some photos and he puts them up on screen.
I'm pretty sure I shared. I shared the photos with him.
Okay, good. And like that finish though is it's kind of a more golden iridescent finish than say like the Disney stuff that was out a few years ago. And it really does kind of play well in the sun.
Yeah.
Like that's something that those resorts were meant to do, is reflect the sunlight very well.
And they do. And when we say those resorts, Terra Luna has a sister resort across the road called Stella Nova. So
this is why it gives you major all-star vibes, by the way, guys. Like it's literally like the same shit. Like,
they're mirror images of each other.
Right. And like there is no benefit to staying in one or the other at this point that we could see. Right.
Except Terra Luna was the newer of the two.
Technically by like a month and a half.
Yeah, because
at that point
Stella Nova opened at the end of January. So
right. Yeah. So we stayed at the beginning of April, and when we checked in, I think we were set up for success on this.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because the check-in attendant, like, she wanted to make it clear that this was not like the Uber resort type experience. She was like, well, we have 750 rooms. All of them are exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Basically, you are getting a preference on where your room is.
Yeah. So, and just for reference, all rooms are queen, 2 queens. So all rooms sleep 4 adults. I think
2 adults and a dog is my experience with Universal Resorts.
They, I believe that, if you have like a baby, like they do like the they have pack and plays if you need it.
Okay.
But yeah, it is, they're all the same. All
there
the
you
same
go.
room.
So we were fortunate enough to be there on a really not busy weekend.
I think,
and that's okay.
I think I think our check-in day, she said they'd been open like 9 days at that point. So
And I jokingly made the request, we'd love to stay in a room that nobody else has stayed in. And she's like, I don't think anybody has stayed here.
Pretty sure you are.
Cool. awesome. We're breaking this room's cherry. This is awesome. I'm into all this.
Yeah.
Now we get to the room, but we walk through the resort, and like, let me start with the gift shop. I know we're supposed to end with the gift shop, but like I
not
wandered
here.
over. Yeah, I wandered over to the gift shop, and I must say I was a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, I was too.
There just was not a huge variety, and I think that it's because they're really pushing a very specific set of Epic Universe
Right.
merch right now, and that's fine and dandy, but like I saw none of the legacy stuff
Not
over
only
there.
that, they didn't even have any resort themed stuff.
No, they didn't.
Like I
And
was
that's
looking
not
for like something that had like Terra Luna on it.
I don't think that's a thing with
I
Universal.
really don't. Yeah, because now that you mention it, Sapphire Falls, I don't think had.
No, I don't remember anything over there
Yeah,
that said that shit.
but so coming
And
from
I'm sure the Hard
Disney,
Rock is different.
yeah. Oh yeah, the Hard Rock's got to be different.
Maybe Portofino or whatever the
I don't
I
know,
think it's Portofino, but whatever the Italian
because
one
that's
is supposed to
that's
be.
also the like the Lowe's as well.
Well, right, but it's a higher end one based on price point anyway that
Yeah,
I've seen. It's closer to the 600-700 Disney Deluxe price range.
yeah.
Uh, for just a standard room. So it, that's a that's a resort I'm willing to check out down the line. Not next week.
No.
But certainly down the line, I might be willing to look into that one. Back to Terra Luna though. Okay, so um we get into the room and it's the most basic bitch ass IKEA shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah.
Right?
For what you're paying for? Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like when you get set up for the success of listen, we were told straight up, there's no valet parking. There's not like a table service. There's like a food court
Yeah.
area with like cook to order sandwiches and such, but not a full on restaurant.
Right.
They also had pizza for room service, and we ended up eating that.
Yeah.
That was okay. It was.
Yeah.
Wasn't wonderful or anything like that. But you did get a beverage cooler, which I hate this beverage cooler bullshit. Give me a fucking mini fridge, like a man. And just like, make my water as cold as, well, maybe even super chilled to the point where like it freezes like when you start drinking it. That's like the coolest shit ever.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so with amenities inside the room, it was kind of sparse. There's no microwave at all.
No. You do have a coffee maker, but no microwave.
There's the beverage cooler, as aforementioned. There's not much space in there, but you can fit like a couple of sandwiches, which we did.
We did. Pub subs.
We got some pub subs. And then we also utilized their built-ins because God bless it, every freaking hotel room has to have a built-in instead of a closet these days. I get it, but
I was actually just proud of us for unpacking for 2 nights.
I know, for a change. The furniture, it felt like they almost ripped off a little bit of this Fantastic Four trailer that I've seen.
Oh yeah, I can see that. It's very IKEA-ish.
Yeah, a very modern IKEA, if that makes sense. Very angles and all sorts of other stuff.
I will say, I really did like the mirror though, above the sink, because it's lighted. It's like backlit. It looks really cool. I did like that.
And I am someone who wants to be able to see, but also doesn't want to burn my retinas out in the middle of the night.
Right.
So this having a very soft light was very nice to me.
Yeah.
Also in the room, let's talk about a couple of negatives here. There's just a random pane of glass.
With a curtain.
Yeah.
That is what is separating you from like the sink area.
Yeah. Which again, I guess is a modern aesthetic.
I don't know.
Maybe
it was dumb to me.
It felt more like a bad excuse to like spy on people. I don't know. It
Yeah.
just was weird. Um, and also wildly dangerous if you go out and have a couple of drinks at the hotel bar.
Yeah.
Like just it feels like a disaster waiting to happen.
And by hotel bar, there's 2 of them.
Yes, there are. There are two. We'll get to
Yeah.
those. I did not partake, but we did go visit both
Right.
while we were there. I partook elsewhere,
Yeah.
I guess so. We went over to City Walk
We
too, but we'll
did.
talk about that another time. Getting back over into the room, another point of controversy for me was the portal window. Now, Pat was concerned about like what it would look like from the inside, thinking, "Oh, you're gonna get one of these like little portal things,
Yeah.
like
No, it's big.
from fucking like Disney Cruise Line or
Yeah,
whatever,
it's
where it's
not a
like the fake
porthole.
portal."
No, it's not, and it's not a fake one
No,
either.
they didn't do Galaxy's Edge on us.
Yeah. We had a pool view.
Mhm. um, a, a too good of a pool view, if I'm being, it felt a little bit nesty. It's it's an interesting viewpoint, I will say that. But like I said, it just gives me this vibe of a situation that causes me to have a very awkward situation undoubtedly every time that I stay on Disney property now.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
And I hate that I my mind went there to a degree,
Yeah.
but like I will say this, we spent a good bit of time in the room and we were not disturbed
No, we were not.
by a universal
We were not.
check-in person. So I don't know if that is because they do that shit like you're supposed to with housekeeping, that kind of thing.
Didn't
And
they have like
they
a
they
motion detector?
they did so that if you're unresponsive for more than 24 hours, they do a wellness check. So basically, if you die in there, they're
Yeah.
just gonna,
Um
or you don't come back to your room,
yeah.
they're gonna know.
Yeah.
So that's not the craziest thing in the world, and I'd rather that than the awkward guy wearing a cast member uniform.
Yeah.
It's starting to get really weird with that. It is. I don't know. It just makes me more and more uncomfortable. Awkwardly transitioning away from a very touchy subject. Let's let's also talk about how we tried to experience this resort. We did try to experience it as like truly a guest would.
Yeah.
Because we don't do Universal
No.
very often. And when we do, it's been because of hurricanes.
Right. Well, or 8th grade field trips.
Right. Okay. I've only done Universal because of hurricanes or an escape room.
I
Okay.
am crazy enough to, chaperone a bunch of 8th graders.
Could not pay me enough money.
Doing it again in a
So
couple of weeks.
yeah, which reminds us, if you have any assignments due in her
Oh,
class, go
yeah.
ahead and
You have a test on Tuesday, guys. Thanks.
there it is. Um, yeah, thanks for that Amanda's classroom update. I'm sure that's going to
And by
increase the
Tuesday, I mean
viewership.
tomorrow.
Neener, neener. All right. Now, where I was going with this is the busing system, um,
Yes.
because it is different. Universal actually buying property, in the middle of a already built out
Yeah.
city. They bought out a major section of a major road
Major road.
and turned it into their own highway system.
Mhm.
Essentially, they pay for the upkeep and they have their own bus lanes
Yeah.
that follow directly to go towards Universal, and the lights favor the bus system.
Mhm.
And that's, you know what? Perfectly fine with me.
Yeah.
They're paying extra money into the system for the upkeep.
Yeah.
They paid for all the construction. I give them special privileges. Fuck it. I'm good with it.
Yeah. No, I'm fine with it
So,
too. I mean,
um, and it made transportation to and fro, which is something that I was concerned about with Epic Universe being so close to the Terra Luna
mhm.
and Helios stuff. Um, that if we do a Universal stay, it's probably going to be at one of the legacy resorts,
Yeah.
not Helios right away. Although
That's
you never know,
that's on the list at some
it's
point.
on the list. But if that's the case, then obviously we would want to check out Epic, and if we
Yeah.
are checking that out, I'd be concerned about things like transportation because this is the first time I'm doing all this kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So we kind of scoped it out a little bit from the time frame standpoint. It was maybe 10 minutes from
Yeah,
bus
10.
stop to
Yeah.
the parking deck.
Yeah. 10, maybe 15.
And I would give it like probably the same sort of commute back to that
Yeah.
general vicinity.
Yeah.
So you're looking about the same sort of ride time
Which
from the
honestly
resort to
was
Epic.
shorter than I was thinking it was going to be. So,
Yeah, that is a notoriously traffic filled area
right.
of town, and yeah, that we were able to get through there pretty unencumbered. It was impressive,
Yeah. It
actually.
really was. And kudos to Universal for thinking about that and
Mhm.
planning that.
It was on a weekend too. It's not like it was, on a Tuesday where like everybody and their brothers working. But still, all the tourists are out, and
Right.
all
That is,
the gift shops are gift shopping.
you are in the middle of the tourist district
Yeah,
pretty much.
absolutely.
So, yeah, for it to be that short of a bus ride as it actually
Pretty.
was yeah, it was pretty good.
It was pretty good idea on their part.
Yeah.
Um, Getting back, like we said, about the same commute, and then really, when it comes to the rest of the resort, I hate to say it, there's really not much to speak on or talk about, and that's kind of by design, and that's okay.
Yeah. It's definitely a resort that is, you are there to sleep. You're not there
That
to hang out at the resort, except for
that is
maybe a few hours at the pool.
that is absolutely what Universal needs.
Yeah.
And not just that, they need rooms for Epic so
Yeah.
that they are covered when it comes to all of their guests and everything like that.
Yeah.
But I think there's also room to not retheme necessarily, but at least like update
Yeah.
that because it is so basic on this rollout that maybe they did this on purpose and to kind of maybe revitalize those resorts down the line. They add more cool features
Yeah.
and make it into a little bit
It
more of
it
a
would be a lot,
futuristic
yeah,
resort.
it'd be a lot easier for them to do that going forward than it would be to start out really, really heavily themed and then be like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
should probably scale back."
That's well, the Disney model.
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to avoid the Disney model at all costs right now. Hate to say it. Um, so overall, let's go ahead and give this thing a review. Amanda, on a scale of 1 to 5 Terras, how many Lunas are you going to give this resort?
I'm gonna go with a solid 3. It's average.
Perfectly acceptable.
I mean, it's
Perfectly
got the
acceptable.
pool. We didn't like get in the pool, but we walked around there. It's like a zero entry.
Mhm.
I think there is like some areas that have sand around the pool. So I mean, that's a cool feature. The
Mhm.
pool bar is actually really, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
And there's a bar in the lobby of the hotel, which you never see that. So,
Not anymore,
right.
certainly.
But it
You don't.
definitely, it gave me, like, I kind of had like 60s futuristic vibes a little bit from the
Yeah, that's where I
hotel.
was going with
Yeah.
that Fantastic Four vibe.
Yeah.
Um, it's a Tomorrowland hotel
Yeah.
that Disney did on the cheap, or not Disney, Universal
Universal.
did on the cheap, and they gave it to their guests on the cheap.
Yeah.
Shocking
In
that
case you're
this is.
wondering, I just looked up prices. So just so that we can, non-Florida rate, so
Mhm.
non-Florida resident, um, you're looking at roughly 230 a night.
And with the Florida resident, we paid
We
130 a
Yeah,
night.
we paid. Now the Florida resident has since gone up, but
Yeah,
it's
and also they also didn't have their parking thing working, so they just found every excuse in the world to give away free parking.
yeah,
It was very obvious that their parking thing just wasn't working. So, thanks for the
yeah,
free parking, but
yeah.
whatever, it's fine. All right. So I'm gonna give it a 3. and I'll say this about it. Um, it's certainly decidedly average, and certainly it accomplishes what it set out to
Yeah.
do. It's not that I will not go back, but it's not because of anything that they did wrong, and I still would recommend it.
Hmm.
It's just not how I would prefer to vacation at this point in my
We
life.
like our hotels to have things.
Hmm. A little bit more fluffy towels, a little
Yeah.
bit more room service, a little bit more luxury uh, to them because we are trying to de-stress and
Yeah.
unwind, and we're not necessarily, running and gunning for the theme parks and everything. But if you are, this is going to work out
This
great
is
for you.
perfect. I mean, I honestly, yeah, I would recommend this if your goal is to go to theme parks and have a place just to like sleep, go here. Go to Terra
Yeah,
Luna.
even if you're doing something over at Disney, there it's not that far away from the Disney
I'm
parks.
so
If you have
glad
a
you brought
car,
that up.
um, and it seems like you know, this could be a place where gals trip to Food and Wine and then over to Epic for a night or
No,
some shit.
but I'm glad that actually segues into a news story I saw.
Oh, well, look at that segue right off the bat, anchor lady.
Yay! So, speaking of going over to Disney and then,
Oh,
popping over to going back over to resort at Universal, um,
hmm.
you will now be able, once Epic opens, you will be able to get transportation from Disney to Universal, to Epic anyway, because the Lynx, which is our public transportation, our public bus system here, they will be
Ah,
operating. They go to Disney already, and they have been for God. They were going to Disney when I was a cast member down here, so they've been going to Disney
did
for years. But
yeah? Didn't they go to the Transportation and Ticket Center
yeah, I believe
basically?
so. But they go to they go to several different. They have several different stops at Disney. Um,
Oh, okay.
but they are going to open a route over to Epic, and it's going to cost you like $2.
Well, that's going to be key.
Yeah,
And I hate buses and public transportation in the first place. So I will not be utilizing the shuttle service, but
but
that's
it's
not because it doesn't serve a purpose. It's because I stand on principle that I hate these things.
yeah. I think it's a really good for those that are coming that may have already had a Disney trip booked and want to pop over and check out Epic or vice versa. Um, this is a good way to do it without spending a ton of money getting there and not
Yeah,
and
sir.
is and not driving. If you don't know this area,
I
driving it
think
can
Uber
be
is your friend in the next couple weeks
if
here.
you don't know this area, driving it can be a nightmare. So
And if you do know this area, avoid it like the
it's
plague next
going to
month.
be a nightmare. It already is. It's gonna
Yeah,
get worse.
because Epic is well, it's gonna be epic.
Yeah.
God, that's absolutely I've seen very little previews of it because I do want to experience all these things myself for the first time.
Yeah.
And the little bits and pieces that I have seen, like I'm stunned, absolutely stunned
Really the only
by all that.
I've seen a few just because I want to kind of get an idea. Plus we have a friend that got to experience it in the previews. I'm a bit jealous, but
Well, I mean, yeah,
but so I saw what they posted um as well. But oh yeah.
which I'm sure was just wonderful because that's what all the reviews are. Almost suspicious, but I'm not going to actually be suspicious because they're showing the receipts on it.
Yeah.
And I think that this proves the reason why you need a new part.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because what they just kicked Disney's ass with Epic Universe, there's no way you can make Magic Kingdom into that. You
No.
can't retrofit it enough. And
No.
if you did, then you would lose all the charm and the whole reason why we want to go.
Right. Right. And unfortunately, Disney feels like they're trying to retrofit Magic
Everything.
Kingdom. And especially with the Cars and Villains editions, that really does feel like we're trying to retrofit and getting rid of very nostalgic, very Magic Kingdom
It's not
characteristics.
it's not just that. Like I kind of get the feeling that what they're eventually going to be doing here is taking Tomorrowland and completely scrapping it.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
and by that I mean like trying to craft a way to make every goddamn sci-fi IP they've ever owned
Yeah.
thrown in there. But they were trying to replace the Speedway with a Cars Land attraction, and that's what they're doing with that. So they're gonna get rid of that eventually. Buzz Lightyear is getting a refurb, but a probable short-term one.
Yeah.
And with Monsters Inc. being in the same show building, essentially, um, there's not really a reason to keep that going with the new coaster being open in
Yeah.
I'm just not seeing where they're gonna save anything that's current other than maybe Space Mountain. And honestly, it wouldn't shock me if this Tron shit flops, that they just call Tron Space Mountain Part 2 and maybe get rid of the original to do something completely different over there. It wouldn't shock me.
I mean,
Like that's the kind
yeah.
of drastic thing that they would rather do than actually make a fifth theme park.
Yeah. Yeah. And meanwhile, you've got Epic. Universal's about to blow Disney out of the water.
Again, with their own fresh creation, with
Right.
their own intellectual properties that aren't just overdone everywhere. I think Harry Potter's overdone, to be honest with you. But like from a number of attraction standpoint, I think Toy Story still has it beat.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Harry Potter, though, there's going to be some other issues that come out with that that I'm not going to get into, but
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot
no,
pole. We're not that stupid.
but
But
yeah, I don't everything I've seen, don't get me wrong though. The Harry Potter stuff over at Epic, oh my god. Like I'm actually I that's going to be cool. But I'm seeing more excitement for like the Super
oh
Nintendo
yeah,
stuff, the Mario.
yeah,
That's what I'm with. I
absolutely.
am so excited about that part.
Same. And weirdly the Dark Universe one I'm
Yeah,
excited about as well. I don't really have any sort of connect. I've not even seen How to Train Your Dragon and Harry Potter. It's literally Steve is this thing where he hates Star Wars, even though he's never like he knows the whole story. So basically,
yeah.
because it's been in pop
I
culture
mean, yeah.
zeitgeist, he doesn't feel the need to watch it. And he's not going to waste his time because it doesn't sound interesting to him.
I
And
get it.
I'm like that sort of with Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Yeah.
They walk a long way to get some old guy's piece of jewelry and throw it into a volcano and war ensues and there's a midget
I
or
mean
something. I
that
don't know.
that's not at all
That's
Harry Potter, but okay.
no, that was Lord of the
No, I
Rings.
know that's Lord of the
Yeah,
Rings. I thought you were
yeah.
like equating the two, and I'm like, that's not at all that what
No,
no.
no, I'm saying I've not seen either one of those franchises. And you would think that me being kind of a dork for movies like that, I would love that shit, especially John Williams scored, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's
I,
not really like you're not into fantasy.
oh God, no. I
And
don't even like to dress up on Halloween.
these are very fantastical. I never got into Lord of the Rings. I also blame my 8th grade boyfriend for that because he made me go watch like whatever movie came out when we were in 8th grade is like our first date, and that was dear God boring.
17 hours long. You needed
Right.
a hotel.
Like, there's a reason why
It
that
was a
relationship.
6-hour intermission.
There's a reason why that relationship lasted 2 weeks.
that's not a relationship.
No, I know.
Then,
I'm just
okay?
saying. Like, he took me to that, and then I was like, I can't do this.
What else is going on in the news there, babe?
Oh, let's see. Let me pull up my thing here. Well, in case you have not heard, Grand Floridian is undergoing refurb in the lobby, which means Christmas, the famous gingerbread house, will not be there. So if you were looking forward to seeing that this year at Christmas, you won't.
I think this is a big mistake. They're probably going to bring it back the year after that.
Oh yeah, I think it's only because the lobby's undergoing. Like
I
they've
think
already
this
started.
bar is a mistake. It's just another excuse for people to get off the monorail and not take the direct monorail from the parking lot to the park. And I get that you want to serve the guests, but Citrico's is the better bar.
Yeah.
Than even the Beauty and the Beast one, Enchanted
Oh
Rose.
yeah, I really like Citrico's bar better. Yeah.
And it serves the actual resort a lot better too, because it's a little bit deeper into the actual hotel property. So yes, what I'm saying is that this is entirely a cash grab and unnecessary. And I think that it's the stupidest thing that they could fucking do at that hotel, but have at it, guys. I mean, you're already messing up everything else. Yep. So, might as well mess this one up too.
Yep. Back in January, Disney offered free dining. They also have started testing the return of the resort airline check-in service, which basically you check your luggage in at a Disney resort, it gets loaded onto your flight home. So they're looking at bringing that back. But it's like super specific right now. So yeah,
which means that it's happening. They're just letting you know that they don't know what the date is. That's what that means.
I mean, it's in it's in testing.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out how to do it all again.
Yeah.
Somebody brushed off the binder from 2019 or whatever. And look, this is a service that should never have gone away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I agree. Period. I agree. But I think right now by testing, it is limited. I think it's only Southwest Airlines flights that I think they're doing this for at the moment. So
it's a common airline into
it is. I'm just it's not. This is not something that is available widespread at the moment.
No, not yet. I'm sure that it will be updated so that it includes all the major airlines and eventually some of the minor ones. I don't think Allegiant Air is going to ever get there, but maybe the Frontiers of the world. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Spirit is going to cost you $12 extra if you do it. So yeah, it's just how Spirit.
Well,
that's how Spirit do. Let's see here. When it comes to the, what was the other one that you said was coming back?
They offered just like a blanket free dining back in January, but they're just announced that they're going to offer free dining for kids ages 3 to 9 with the purchase of an adult dining plan for bookings for next year.
That certainly sounds like they are trying to, appeal to families again.
Well, yeah, considering that according to this article I'm reading, they revealed in their fourth quarter earnings that their theme parks have been facing a slump with visitors.
For good goddamn reason.
Yeah.
Look, here's what's kind of happened. What's kind of happened is they took Epcot and fucked it up.
Big time.
Like it's a shell of its former self. And they're trying to reclaim it in the sense of, oh, we're just going to make this an awesome place for you to wander around and drink. And that's causing its own problems because that's all there is to do over at Epcot now is wander around and drink. So I'm not even opposed to wandering around and drinking. I'm just saying that you got to give me more to do over there sometimes.
Yeah.
It just, everything feels like a cover and everything feels like like this. They shouldn't be running like this.
No.
Right?
No, they shouldn't.
This should be the standard.
Especially because they announced that ticket prices next year are going to increase again.
Yeah, I saw that. Allegedly.
I mean, there's definitely plenty of time for them to decide, hey, maybe we shouldn't do that. But over the past decade, Disney World tickets have climbed up to 101%.
So that means that they've doubled in price.
More than doubled.
Yeah.
More than doubled in price over the past 10 years.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's not like they've doubled the value.
No.
They've taken the value away. Just shred after shred of it, they've taken it away.
I think though, like, we're not just they're about to see a major slump, because it's not just the fact that Epic's opening. It's, now you've got a lot of visitors from overseas who aren't coming at the moment.
I think Universal opening up a theme park over in jolly old England is
that's
a little bit more havoc.
That's gonna
Disney wants to admit.
Yeah, that's gonna wreak some havoc, because
there happens to be a large contingent of UK visitors who come down here and live here for like 2 months or some shit. And like some of them are DVC people, some of them are just like long-term rental type folks. I've had to deal with a couple of them because of my career and such. And look, it's a lifestyle that I don't fucking understand. I don't understand it. I understand wanting to get away from that miserable country and that terrible cuisine. Oh God, I can't imagine.
So I was listening to a podcast today. I listened to this well, not just British, it's like a royalty podcast, so it's like about all kinds of like monarchs and stuff throughout history. But the episode I was listening to today, the host was talking to an English guy who wrote a book about the English, and I'm keep saying English because not British, English kings and queens. And he said, again, he is English. He said that the English have like no culture outside of being British. It's like there's a British culture. He's like, but if you look at like Scotland and Wales and Ireland, they all have like their own unique cultures. England does not.
and for anyone who does not give a fuck about the nuances of that is the most boring thing that you could have said. So
I'm just saying, like, you're talking about like the food and such. Well,
yeah, it's awful. It's terrible food over there. Like I've seen the TikToks. Ew. Ew. Anyway, so that's, I think, gonna cut down on a lot of that. I think that anybody who's super into theme parks is want to save themselves thousands of dollars and go see James Bond land.
I also saw something about how they apparently like the best place in the world or whatever for kids, like is like in England. A UK seaside town crowned top place in the world to take your kids somewhere.
Well, when we have children, perhaps we will consider it. Not until then. That's for sure. I'm not going over that place voluntarily. You're gonna have to drag me over there kicking and screaming.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, but I'm just saying, like, the top place in the world to take your children on vacation is in the UK.
Just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not.
Disney.
I didn't think that it was necessarily. I'm just saying that it doesn't track with me. No. Ew.
But it is Nickelodeon themed, apparently.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. Well, there's that, and that's weird and awkward these days. Okay, so Amanda, do we have any other news that we need to get to?
I mean, not like major stuff. There's Shula's is closing. So
okay.
For those of you that don't know, Shula's is the steakhouse over at I can't remember if it's a Swan or Dolphin. It's Apparently neither.
Swolfen.
Apparently this article doesn't know either because they said swan and dolphin.
There you go.
It will be
Swolfen.
It will be closing. It's continuing to take reservations through June 14th. So apparently June 14th will be the last day. It will close and it will be replaced by Bourbon Steak. That's the name of the new restaurant.
I mean, if Mike Shula had gotten Tim Tebow to go to Alabama, we might be talking a very different tune. But instead, he came to Florida, and he won 2 national titles. And Mike Shula went to go be the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers.
Right.
So I think he's too busy to run a steakhouse, because Daddy did that when he retired from being a perfect coach, and that's a tough standard to live up to, I guess, for Mike. But look, I don't really have any sort of emotional connection to the Swolfen, and it's something that I feel like we should check out.
We do need to check it out. We do need to check
it out. If nothing else, I've seen on occasion them being available through like day passes for resort pass or whatever. And if we don't want to like do the full stay, maybe we do like a day guest type deal. All right. Well, Amanda, we're on social media, are we not?
We are.
Where might we be found?
You can find us, not that I've updated, but you can, because busy. You can find us on Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter at Cynical Disney. You find us everywhere else, so that's Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Pinterest, all of that at Cynics on Disney.
And this show is, of course, brought to you by NotClub33.com. Make sure that you're checking out NotClub33.com for all the latest and greatest updates, including but not limited to the show and the Notcast, released every single Friday at 4 p.m. Magic Kingdom time. Now, I will point out that Steve just went to Disneyland Paris, and we are going to bring his ass on here in the near future so that we can talk a bunch of French shit, I guess. I mean, blah blah blah, s'il vous plaît, all that shit. We'll talk about what else there is to do, because I mean, I don't know, besides that and the place up is in the Da Vinci Code, what else is there to do? I mean, doesn't sound like it's all that historic of a city. What? It's nothing. It's a bunch of fucking white flags or something. I don't know, a bunch of surrenderers. Anywho, until next time, guys, we appreciate you very much for listening. Make sure that you're liking the video, commenting down below, subscribe to the channel, and even hit that bell for all the notification buttons. We really appreciate it, guys, because it gets us out into the algorithm, kind of exposing us to more listeners. And listen, I'm not ready to start doing the OnlyFans thing. I'm not ready to expose myself in any other way. Not yet. We're getting there. Times are tough. I understand. But not yet. If you're interested, let me know. Anyway, until next time, guys, have yourselves a magical fucking day.